Greetings, everyone. Today I'm finally back on my fiddle, and I had a jig for you the last time that I was working on composing it for someone that wanted to give it as a gift. So it's not quite named yet, but I've kind of settled on the tune and how it goes. And so I'm going to play that first on the fiddle. There it is. I'm kind of liking it, and hopefully you like it too. I did change just a couple of things. Actually, I added one thing and I eliminated one thing and changed it. So the only thing that I changed from last week was the third to the fourth measure in the first part. So it used to go like this. So now I have, from the beginning of the first part. I kept feeling like that spot was a little unsettled, and kept reworking it and reworking it. This is clearly a case of, oh gosh, it was just such a small thing. When I played it just now, I think I was pretty consistent, but I can see using the other two measures interchangeably with this tune, and no harm. So if I played the tune twice, I might use the new way first, and then I might use that older way second. Neither one changes, I think, the chords, so they can be used interchangeably. But I felt like the first way that I played it there is the stronger melody. So it's just personal. It's just a stronger. For some reason, it wants to be the melody, and the other is more like a variation. The other thing that changed is in the second part. So when I played the tune first, it's very bright and happy kind of chords coming down from the beginning there. Kind of like that idea. And that's all the way through the first time, the second part. But I just went over to the piano and was taking a peek at it, and I just hit on that idea of going a descending pattern that goes like this. So yeah, so it gives it a completely different feel. And I'm not settled on whether you'd almost demand that people play it with the very bright and happy majory sounds the entire first time and then change it the second time through the tune. But I think I could do this little rundown the second time every time just as well. So the two of them back to back would be. God, it's really subtle. But it's less subtle if you have an accompanist that just bashes that out. And so grab somebody to try that. And again, I'm going to give you the little recording that I've been trying just to listen to it and say, do I like this? Do I like this? And I'm thumping, as usual, just on my fiddle. And hopefully you'll be able to hear the chords there. So one of our patrons, Cass, was asking about, and looking back at the post from a while back that was about Cooley's reel, and was asking about, like, how do you go into these session tunes and how do you make decisions? I think on that same post I had talked about I'm such a fan of John Williams being able to switch from tune to tune. John Williams plays the accordion and concertina and every other instrument here in Chicago. And so I was having a think to see if I could say a little bit about that today in case anybody else is interested. It is a really nice world. You know, a lot of old-time tunes, they get played many times. Within bluegrass tunes, there's all that room to just completely change notes over a chord structure. For us in the Irish music, you have these really solid tunes, and then you get the chance to change into another tune. So I think it's really fun, and of course, the Scots do this as well, although they might stay with a certain key a little longer than maybe the Irish do or did. So anyway, the question was Cooley's Reel, and that's, of course, this one. Big, famous, great tune. So there's no set version of that I have. This is just such a great old tune that I'll be changing up that melody all the time, especially in a session. I think the classic tune to go into after Cooley's tended to be Father Kelly's, and sometimes Father Kelly's went before Cooley's. Father Kelly's is this one. It is in G, in the key of G, and Cooley's is in E minor. And you know, you don't even really have to know what the keys you're in are, but you have little choices, and so I thought I'd tell you. I was just kind of looking at this, and so one thing that happens there is that you're taking a tune from one key and you're going into another key, and in that case you went into G. And if you like that kind of a switch, going into the G, then almost all of your tunes that are in G could possibly work. So here's an example of a tune in G. I'm kind of staring at my sheet here, but it's the Galway Rambler. So let's say I'm coming along and I'm going to play the second part of Cooley's, and I'm going to go into the first part of the Galway Rambler. So this was a switch also into G, just like Father Kelly's. And then it would be a matter of whether this works every time. Sometimes, like I noticed with the Galway Rambler, we're dealing with a quarter note, 2 8 notes, 4 8 notes. Cooley's is what? 4 8 notes, a quarter note, and 2 8 notes, at least for the first part of the tune. The second part of the tune, 2 8 notes and a quarter note. Yeah, so it's not exactly like Father Kelly. So it's not just going to be, sorry, the Galway Rambler. It's not just going to be that that the key change is going to do it for you. Sometimes it's going to be how the notes are set up. 8 notes, quarter notes, and what's going to be. So like you could really line up your tunes that are in G and try Cooley's second part and go into different ones. And you're going to feel a buzz. You're going to feel something. One will be better than another one. What I can say too is that you don't, you can also try key changes with the tunes that you know that are in G. You can actually change the tunes that are in G to play it in D, try it even in C, and see what could happen. If I take that second part of Cooley's now, and I go into the Galway Rambler in the key of C instead, then you're bouncing this off yourself to see, does it make you happy? Is it good? Is it interesting? Lots of things going on. So the end of Cooley's again, let's see it now. So that's the Galway Rambler in C. And wasn't that interesting? If we do it in D, let's try the end of Cooley's again. And for different people, you know, they might go, this is great. Yeah, I love that. When I'm thinking about that just now, the other thing that you can do while you're there is continue with the Galway Rambler in G and then switch to Cooley's. Because I can't tell you how many times in playing with friends, especially for things like bands and all of that, you sometimes just go, wait a second, let's put this tune in front of that one and see what happens. So if we take Father Kelly's, let's see, now I'm going to have to get to the second part. So here's the second part. So you might say, well, that was pretty fun, and maybe that switch from Father Kelly's to Cooley's reel might actually be the one that's going to really send you, and you're going to enjoy better. If we do the same thing with the Galway Rambler in its usual key of G, here's the second part. And then I would advise you to try that tune in C or try other tunes in C. Again, Cooley's is in that E minor. You could also try things of, you can try, a lot of people will just stay in the same key for a good while. So you could actually stay with E minor. And what was I going to say? And sometimes you can just take a slightly different mode in that key, and that let's say Cooley's is so we have a E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. You could stay in the same mode, so you get done with Cooley's and you can go into a tune like this, which I'm not going to remember the name of it, but here's a reel that's in the same mode. If you stay in the same key, sometimes the payoff of a great lift to a selection of tunes can be that you stayed in the same key 2, 3 tunes in a row and then switched into another brighter or darker kind of a key. If I play, one other thought I had was the Fermoy Lasses, which is a great session tune, and it's in a slightly different mode, and it's kind of this. I think. So now if I play Cooley's reel, And then ultimately, you could go back to Cooley's and try that switch. And for fun, I was judging at the Flacchiol music competition out on the East Coast this weekend. Heard lots of great music. And speaking of also being really great in a session, Sean McComiskey and Sean Gavin were there. And it was just great sitting in a session with those guys, kind of leading the way. Brendan Callahan was there too, great composer, fiddler, and Rose Flanagan, and great time, and lots of other musicians too, and lots of young musicians. But during the Cooley band competition, the next day, somebody played the great tune called The Reconciliation. And I hadn't heard it in a while, and it was really great to hear it. And I'm not going to remember what the band was calling themselves, but they were great. And that's this tune. And I'm going to leave you with that tune. Try Cooley's first. Try that tune after it. Let me know how you feel about it. Try that tune first. Go into Cooley's. But yeah, Cass, thanks for bringing up this subject. And I'm sure maybe people have sorted out what might go with a tune like Cooley's. There's so many session tunes. I have no idea what everybody does or doesn't know in that world. But hopefully that's a little bit of advice. Like I say, there was nothing more fun than sitting down with friends and coming up with what would be a great switch. So it's definitely part of our world. Let me know how it goes. And again, I'll put that jig up there with a little bit of a thumping, chordy fiddle for you to hear it finally. I'm sure I'll have a name by the next time. Onward. Okay, hope you're having a great day.